Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. Before we went on break, Pasha Bhai was going to talk about a topic. So Pasha Bhai, please.
Now, what I was saying that say for skill, I mean, like, it's so unfortunate, or I'm not sure. Before the Parliament debate, Westminster debate, you remember the last month, yeah? We wrote it to about 70 closest friend of ours, Parliament member.
70 MPs. 70 MPs you
and
wrote
who is our member, partly because we got a close relationship with them. They goes to any of our outlets as a customer.
Restaurants, yeah? And so on and so forth.
And half of them reply us, giving us this, that you can get the people from abroad with this money, sponsor license, and this and that, because they were really totally misguided by some immigration minister or someone. What I want to say is sponsor license is the first step to get people from abroad. You know that. Okay.
Well, I'd like to bring the attention of the viewers. Today, the law exists. You can bring people from abroad. In order to do that, you need to be approved by the Home Office. You need to get a sponsorship license. You need to apply to the Home Office with all the criteria, with all the red tape, huge papers. Now, in my company, I applied for 4. Now, we employ more than 400 people. I applied for 4. We got 2, and the paperwork was huge. Now, I have a huge HR department. Small Indian restaurants, small restaurants who do not have that. How will they manage this? Now, even after I applied for 4, we got 2. Now, after you get the license, providing you can pay after food and accommodation 29,000 gross pay, you are allowed to bring them in. Now, Pasha Bhai is saying that that's going up to 35,000. Now, after 35,000, you still have to give them accommodation and you still have to give them food. So it's working out approximately 47 to 50,000 pounds. Now, that's what Pasha Bhai is talking about. Now, Pasha Bhai is saying that the red tape
what I'm saying is the bureaucracy, red tapes, compliance. This is all right for big giants, okay?
Even we are facing trouble.
Yeah, for you it's all right. But for the small business like us, I have a business development manager, yeah? I've got it from abroad. And he is a business manager. What he does from my business, one of my business is quite big. So he goes to pubs, nightclubs, and everywhere, and develop the relationship with the customers. And I've got from the Tier 2, this is licensed under Tier 2, yeah, Tier 2. And the people from the sponsor license visiting me 9 o'clock wanted to see him.
9 o'clock in the evening?
9 o'clock in the evening. Fine, he's got the folder and everything. One thing was missing, it was his photograph. A page photograph was missing. And for this fault, I've got my license been degraded. This is absolutely, if you look at the wages, if you look at the old rules regulation, in one word I can say they don't want any people from abroad. They don't want it, absolutely. Look at this business. How you can pay this amount of money when you're paying 20% of VAT, Paul? I told you on a break. Yeah? In France, how much they're paying for food? 7%. So we need, if a listed bill, we have seen in Daily Telegraph a guy called that we wanted to save our curry industry. We don't want to lose it like our pubs. Country pub is finished. Competing with supermarket, you can't do it, Salim Bhai. It's impossible. At the moment, if we wanted to survive, if they want us to be here, because it's a British part of life. Many times I've said.
Yeah, we all know that. So Paul, now we've talked about all these issues. So first of all, the salary for the chef going up to 35. Can you speak to the immigration minister and say, no, it's going the wrong direction, you should come down? If the living wage goes up to 920, which by your plan is to take it there by end of this parliament, then that is equivalent to 19,000 pounds per annum salary. Why can't we bring it down to around 20,000 pounds so we can bring people in? And Pasha Bhai's got a valid point. I mean, I have seen him campaign tirelessly with government about the VAT. He said in France it's 7%, in Denmark it's 9%, in the United Kingdom it's 20%. Now, if you sell a curry, if you're Tesco or Asda or somebody, a multi-billion pound company, you sell a curry chilled,
you pay nothing.
You pay nothing. And if you if you're a small family-owned business, somehow making the ends meet, so you do not go and on the dole, you do not claim Social Security, then you have to pay 20%. So is it the government policies designed to destroy the poor? To
make you unemployed?
Okay, two things there. So you talked about the rate for Tier 2 visa, the salary for Tier 2 visa. As we've clearly demonstrated over the show, that it's set far too high above the market value.
So we agreed you're going to talk about that to James.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. But what I wanted to do with that is not just say that, because he probably knows that, frankly, because you guys have already made that case. What we need to do is we need to say, okay, fine, we need to reduce it to a proper rate, but then let's see what we can add in terms of a complete solution for the government to take on that is then still going to fit within their immigration policy, which is to reduce overall immigration. At the moment, we need mass uncontrolled immigration, which is what we've had over the last few years, over the last decade. We need to
control it.
To control, and that's like an ocean liner, which takes a long time to turn around.
Sorry, I was just going to say we have. I mean, I'm not picking on anybody, but I have seen Eastern Europeans coming into this country in big cities and towns. And is it free for all? They come in, they can claim Social Security, housing, they can claim all other benefits. So why just take that away? So you can give a permit to a Bangladeshi origin person and say you can only come and work and not claim benefit.
I come back to the point actually that I made earlier on, which is it's not government policy, but it's my thoughts that ultimately there is little we can do to control what we're doing under the current rules in terms of EU immigration and in many cases EU benefit claimants. But although we're trying to stem that as best we can, but we can control immigration from outside the EU. And so unfortunately the skilled chef shortage has really come partly as an unintended consequence of a tighter immigration problem. Now you raised the point about VAT.
Right.
This is something I have raised before, and with the
Chancellor.
It's the Chancellor, George
Osborne.
And it's something that they have looked at over a period of time, because ultimately with VAT, because you can claim VAT back, you're therefore charging onto the customer. It's not really something, as far as I understand it, that you are then being discriminated against in terms in terms of restaurant to restaurant. No, I think what you actually made the point. You made the point that actually what you are doing is you're having to compete with not a level playing field in terms of ready meals, supermarkets, these sort of organised, which I totally understand.
But again, when you talk about being able to claim back, most of the ingredient which I serve to this restaurant
is a fresh.
It's fresh, and they do not have.
Only you do it in a beer. That's it. Beer and wine.
No, but sorry. What I mean is that you would therefore, but you'd normally charge VAT on your food as well.
Yeah.
So to your customers, so it'd be your customers that are paying more.
You're probably
as a result.
You're probably
but it's
claiming
not
10-15% back.
You don't include. It's including price.
Yeah.
So.
But it's ultimately supermarkets that you're actually then having to do.
Paul, what I'm saying that is one of the problems. I'm not saying it's the only problem.
Of course,
it's one of the problems.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So all I'm saying is that with that, it's something that it's there with with competition with supermarkets, but it is actually very expensive to try and turn around.
It's very simple, Paul. I mean, if you want to help the small businesses of the United Kingdom, not only the British curry industry, but all the other small eateries, charge the VAT on the chilled food in supermarkets,
which is ultimately
do not charge it on the small industry.
Charging VAT on food in supermarkets just simply isn't going to happen. So this is why.
But you can do it on the ready meals. You can do it on the ready meals. You can class it as ready meals.
Yeah, and then you're then. It's already very difficult actually working out the food that you charge it on, whether Jaffa cakes is a cake or a biscuit and these kind of things. It's already very complex.
But what I'm going to say, I can give you the list of the ready meals that you should be charging VAT on.
I mean, Shalib, I think the problem is what I want to be able to come up with is a solution for government on the whole problem with the curry chef industry, curry industry, that is going to be deliverable. To be honest, I've raised it with George Osborne. I know and a couple of MPs have as well. And frankly, it's just not going to happen. No, I know that's not good for you as an industry, but what I don't want to do is say, I'm going to take this away and we're going to wave a magic wand and George Osborne's going to roll over and give you everything you want. What I would rather see is ask for things that I know with a good push from us, good push from you from the industry, a good push from a few MPs that are friends of the industry as well, that we can actually really see change. That won't be everything you want, but give me a shopping list and we can really put that into a policy.
That's why I'm making a list for you, and I promise that I will email this to you, Paul. And if needs be,
that's why you have to carry on.
We will publicize it on our website.
Yeah.
That this is what we've asked for the government for, and Paul said that he will speak to the relevant ministers and get us positive feedback and hopefully change.
Micheline, basically, I've only been elected for a few months now, but I know
you make a change. Yeah,
absolutely. But I will try my hardest, and I know that I'll come back on your show at some point in the future, and you'll either be saying, thanks, you're the Minister for Curry, well done, or you'll be giving me a kick and say, why haven't you done anything, or why haven't you achieved this?
What I want to say about Paul, the all-party parliamentary group hasn't been formed for a long time. It's about 3 years, I think, 3rd years running, or 4th year, something like this. But he is doing well, and I will request Paul to ask more parliament members to join you. Because most of the parliament member in this country knows about this problem. Because we already wrote it to them, or our outlet was already talking to them.
We should get our local MPs to join the all-party parliamentary.
Look, I mean, my pledge to you is...
There will be more pressure on the government.
Yes. My pledge to you is twofold. It's basically, yes, of course I will raise these issues. It's exactly what I want to do. And I didn't become chairman just for the sake of a title. I actually want to do something with the industry, alongside all areas and corners of the industry, to work together for a solution. And
because industry is having a problem.
If Paul is successful, we may have a statue of him outside.
As the curry houses. Or we have a picture, Paul's picture in every curry houses.
Pastor Bhai, we don't have much time, or 3 minutes to go. Is there any other issues you have regarding skill shortages that you want to talk about or bring it to Paul's attention?
We wanted to, we got a lot of achievement in this country. As the British Bangladesh, one of the top achievement is the British curry industry. And British curry industry has contributed a lot to this country. But we got millions of curry lovers. What we are requesting, like in the parliamentarian, only now the parliament member can help us. My proposal to all viewers who they are listening us, talk to your parliament member, talk to your local journalist, explain the situation, what we are facing. We are not having a good time from the High Street Bank as well, because the High Street Bank is not cooperating us. They are having a bailout from government, is fine. The energy cost is high. Staff shortage problem. Giant online is killing us, sucking our blood. There's many, many problems. But after all those problems, I would like to tell my colleagues, my friends, we're going to face this challenge. And we got a very sincere friend like you in the parliament. With your help and support, we're going to overcome this problem somehow, and we have to do it. This is my request to everybody now. Give us some breathing times. Make a temporary visa for the work permit, for chef. Just a temporary visa like what you've done it before. The Labour government done it before for the sector-based pilot scheme. You could run another scheme for 1 year, 2 years. By this time, we can solve this problem. But if you are waiting for solving this problem, slowly, you're going to lose this industry.
Paul, what I'd like to bring to your attention is how this industry came about. I mean, obviously you know, but just to bring it back. When in the 70s, when we were East Pakistan, and I think about 25,000, 30,000 of us came by, my parents to call it Lilla Visa or something, whatever that was.
The Queen's voucher.
Queen's voucher. And that's how the industry, although started in the 60s, this is when the industry thrived. And after that, we had from the 80s, where we had the daughters and sons going back to Bangladesh, getting married, and the daughters are bringing back husbands. Those days are gone. The next generation, just like they don't want to work in the Indian restaurant industry or the British car industry, as Pasha Bhai would like me to say, they're not going back to Bangladesh to get married, to bring husbands over who can work in the industry. The industry is suffering massively. It has survived over the years, but this is the natural progression of any migrant society. You look at a migrant society of Indian origin in Central Americas, Trinidad and Tobago or Suriname, and they came from, the British took them there 250 years ago. They talk about India, my ancestors came from India. Same thing's going to happen to us. Now, the British food has become, like we talked about, a total part of our culture. It's part of us. It's part of our identity. You know, we've got some companies in the United Kingdom now exporting curry back to India. Okay, we are exporting curry to Ireland, to Europe. I know companies who are exporting curries to other European countries, and it's something to be celebrated about. And I'm so glad that you came today and we talked about the issues, and you agree with most of the issues that we brought up to you, and you will talk to the relevant ministers. We would love for them to come to my show and talk about the issues, especially the immigration minister.
So I can do. No promises.
Maybe Chancellor as well, to talk about the VAT. You know, maybe they'll come during election time, but not before. So please do go and speak to the relevant ministers. The issues we talked about, VAT, how we can reduce that. Even if you do not make it, reduce it for this industry. We talked about the sponsorship license, how we can make that easy. Maybe you can do it online with a few clicks and make it happen. Reduce the red tape, make it simple, you know. And we talked about, and the most importantly, the people who are already in this country. They're here legally, illegally, however they are, they're already here. If we give them a work permit, that does not cause a problem with immigration. They're here. So give this industry the chance to give temporary work permits to the people who are already in this country, students from Bangladesh, from India, from the Asian origin. That will solve temporary problems in the weekends. They can work in the weekends. And by coming to this country and training to be chefs or whatever, why can't these students be? Maybe our generation, our second generation, third generation do not want to be chefs. But the students who are coming to this country, studying, paying their fees already in the universities, if you give them the chance to work in the British curry industry, maybe they can become the next layer of chefs in the industry, to help our industry to grow, to thrive. It's very important, especially for me. Otherwise, I'll become a very poor person. So I'm very glad that you've agreed to help us on all these topics. We will make a list and we will email to you. You bring it to all attention of all the ministers. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we?
Only in conclusion that I say I agree with the the diagnosis of the problem. I agree with many of the things that you said. All I would say about giving people, immigrants that are already here, a role is that if they're legally here, then yeah, let's support them, let's help them work and these sort of things.
So they're students.
If they're illegally here, as you alluded to, I don't think we should be giving them a comfortable situation to be able to work here, because actually they've got no business of being in the country in the first place, and they should be able to go back to their own country, and we should be making them do that. So, but we should be giving a very, very warm welcome to those legal migrants.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul. Our time's up. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Pasha Bhai, for coming in. This is a very, very important subject, important matter for our industry, not only for our industry, but for our community as British Bangladeshi or the British citizens of Bangladeshi origins in this country. We have thrived. We are very successful in what we do. And Indian, or the British curry industry, I keep on saying it, British curry industry has been the backbone of our success. That's what has been our platform for us to go and do better things. We must ensure that our industry not only survives, but thrives. We have a friend. We have a curry minister. Even 2 years ago, we didn't have a curry minister. And that's thanks to all the hard work of likes of Pasha Bhai, who has done that. Now, what we need to do as a community and organization, we need to unite. We do not want different organizations, 3 or 4 organizations in the curry industry. We need to be one voice. We all need to come together and become one and face our challenges. Then the government will listen to us and they will implement changes which will save our industry and we will thrive. Thank you very much. See you again next week.